Coach Franco Says is a proud member of the Philippine Podcast Directory. Check us out on Facebook and listen to the amazing lineup of local podcasters this country has to offer. Now, this is what I use for my analytics. Podmetrics, your one-stop shop for podcast analytics. Make your free account by simply signing in and put in my code, Coach Franco Says upon sign up. Very, very easy. Now enough of this. Let's go to today's episode. Enjoy.
And here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Your Titos of Fighting are back for another edition of Combat Sports Weekly. We are going to talk about so many things that happen in the world of combat sports and sobrang dami nangyari. We are going to kick things off with a very, very successful UFC 258. We're going to start this on a very sad note. For me lang. Idol ko natalo.
When your heroes fall.
When your heroes fall talaga. It was such a painful thing to see.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that I idolize Rodolfo Vieira. I emulate the style, how I fight in jiu-jitsu. The way Rodolfo, hindi pa siya sikat noon. Brown belt pa lang siya. Idol ko na siya. It's so painful to watch na. He got submitted by
sadly some dude.
But
from LFA naman. So.
Yeah. So he's an LFA alumnus. His name is Anthony Hernandez. He basically shocked the world by submitting a multiple-time world champion. In the words of my co-host JC Reyes, I just don't think that there wasn't enough magic beans.
Also, sadly, MMA grappling is not BJJ grappling.
Oh naman, MMA grappling is totally different from sport jiu-jitsu sport jiu-jitsu type of grappling. Shows you the variation and the complexity when you put in strikes. As with any kind of grappling art, whether it's jiu-jitsu, wrestling, or yung mga evolution ng submission wrestling or submission grappling, the concepts and the techniques and the principles remain the same. You know, the downward pressure, the using of leverage, the concept of utilizing your body to isolate limbs is still there. However, when you put in the striking component, you know, when someone's raining down elbows, when you have to worry about knees, when you have to worry about punches, it brings so much into the table already. Hence the coining up of MMA grappling. Kasi nga, you have to worry about so many things. And at the same time, you are restricted or there is a hindrance in the presence of the gloves. Tapos you also have to take into consideration the sweat factor, the fatigue, the proficiency of your opponent's grappling level and grappling IQ. Okay, when it comes to MMA. Now, when it comes to the Anthony Hernandez, really did a really good job when it comes to he focused more on his striking and finished with the grappling. Kasi when he was doing his striking, he was hitting. Tapos, I don't know, Rodolfo Vieira probably gassed out.
Yes,
like
it really looked like it.
Yeah, like mid first round, he probably had a bad weight cut or his strength and conditioning is not there. He really needs to improve on his striking. He can't really, kasi ito yun, diba? When he got rocked, he immediately went for a takedown. Everybody is expecting him to do that. Diba? And everyone knows that you want to take the fight to the ground. So everyone now is going to start polishing their striking. So he should really take into consideration, or he should really focus more on his striking, the way the main event did. Diba? They recognized and acknowledged the fact that since everyone is expecting them to put the fight or take the fight to the ground, they had to improve and polish their striking. So I really hope that Rodolfo Vieira takes notes from them and then improves his striking. Kasi
dapat sa kanila wag siya mag-take notes kay Ben Askren. So.
Or kay Frankie.
No? Yeah.
Ang sama. Diba? Para, yun din. I think we've said this time and again, probably a gazillion times, Ben Askren was potential unrecognized. He had such a high level wrestling pero wala eh. He didn't accompany, he didn't really
I'm an Askren fan pero nung pumasok siya sa UFC, I expected na he wouldn't do as well kasi the level of competition ibang-iba from where he came from.
Oh naman, 100%. He didn't really make an effort to improve on his striking, diba? After the Eddie Alvarez fight, he had syempre he didn't really have that much of a fight against Street Jesus pero come Damian Maia fight, wala rin, parang Diba?
Which leads us to our prospects betting on him sa Jake Paul fight.
Yun nga diba? Now
Sad.
he's gonna fight
I mean,
boxing against
No,
Jake
no.
Paul, who's, I'm like, wow.
Like,
hopefully.
not confident
Delikado.
with his training videos, guys.
Hindi talaga. Ako rin. Wala. Medyo nakakatakot to. Ano bang ads doon? May ads ba tayo?
Ayoko na.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the co-main event, which was a huge surprise. Pero it was
grabe
super
din yan.
entertaining. It
Yeah.
was amazing. The co-main event was amazing. It was between Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. Both of these fighters came in and brought it. A major shout out to Carl De Mesa, who pointed out na parang it was such a barn burner because I wanted to skip the fight. I was really waiting for the Usman and Burns. Then he said, "Hey, let's all watch the Grasso versus Barber," and I was like, "Wow,
Best boxing daw in the UFC, sabi ni DC. So, wow, it's a big thing. I'd like hear you guys talk about this Mexican style na inadopt for MMA.
I mean, let's all agree. I think we all agree here that in as much as we appreciate technical proficiency, fighting is still an entertaining sport. They get their money out of entertaining fighters and entertaining fights. This fight was entertaining, technical, and I couldn't say anything bad about this. Both fighters showed up. Alexa Grasso was he came from a lighter division. He went up.
She went up from strawweight to flyweight.
And it was a very
Flyweight
good
debut
adjustment.
niya yata to.
Flyweight debut, and she passed it with beautiful colors kasi
Yeah.
good cage control. He was able to transition well on the ground. Her timing was really good. I love the way that she executed her combination. She was very patient.
Yeah.
Major props to Macy Barber for pushing the pace. And she
Magaling mag-grapple yan si Macy.
Oo.
Gulat ako.
Pero na-weirdohan ako. Actually, meron akong I'm not sure if you noticed it during the fight. Merong moments doon where ang weird nung galaw ni Macy Barber.
Yeah.
Actually.
Actually.
Bakit nga ba? May
Para
weight
siyang
cut
nagsa-shadow
si Ben.
boxing na hindi mo maintindihan in the middle of
Normally,
the fight.
it's ano yun eh, kasi your muscles tense up because of adrenaline, because of so instead, binabato nila yung mga suntok na ganon. So they just throw the punch for the sake of throwing it so that the tension is released. That's why you
para
see
lumuwag yung muscles.
So it's a very multi-purpose move. You can throw the jab or the straight. So
Parang-
number one, it helps you gauge your distance.
Yung
So
sets
number
or
two,
ano
it
yun.
relieves the tension that is boiling up or it's curling up. Alam mo yung you know that feeling na you've been holding on or you've been flexing that muscle for way too long, so it's starting to build fatigue. So instead of relaxing it, it's better to throw the punch. Kasi malay mo pumasok, 'di ba? Whether it hits or not,
So,
at least you were
pakawalan
able.
mo na lang.
So it was
naka-wind
better
up
to
yung
release
muscle.
it. Yep. Instead of winding up your muscle and building up tension, and then later on you'll gas out that muscle group or that area, you might as well throw that punch out. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, that's fun. That's fine. Going back to the sequences, they were throwing at a very high rate. What impressed
For
me-
flyweight.
for
Yeah,
flyweight.
bilis.
And what
Parang
impressed me,
Energizer Bunny of sorts yun.
alam mo yun nga. Sobrang Energizer Bunny silang dalawa. Parang hindi sila napapagod.
Gets ko yung kay Alessa Grasso kasi Mexico is super high elevation.
Yeah.
Pero si Macy Barber, like, bakit?
It's a clear indication of
Gigil na hindi mo maintindihan. Parang she wants to prove something.
Pero parang kasi tawag ito, Macy Barber knew na she was losing the rounds eh. So she had
baka
to
yun,
push
may
the pace,
urgency.
and she probably loaded up on a lot of shots. Yeah, yung the observation of JC that she was it kind of contributed to her being tentative because she was winding up most of her shots. She probably wanted to end the fight with those power shots, but Alexa Grasso took them. What really another thing that impressed me on this fight is the pace and the level of striking plus clinching. They were striking and clinching against the cage. That's a very hard thing to do, okay? For our audience, our community, sobrang nakakapagod mag-clinch, and then you're gonna strike. And then you're gonna strike, you're gonna go back to the clinch, and then you're gonna lean on the cage.
Diba?
This happened for 3 rounds.
Yung conditioning nila.
The strength and conditioning level of these fighters are so high. And their fight IQ is at a level wherein they both tried to negate each other's tactics, but Alexa Grasso had a better game plan. Her combinations, her boxing combinations, very Mexican, right? Very Mexican style
Very,
combinations, proved really really effective against Macy
very
Barber. So
offensive. At the same time, sobrang niyang composed all throughout
yun.
na
I think
grabe.
DC said the same thing, that she was calm, she was composed, she wasn't
Oh,
really in the foreseeable future they fight for the title. Sino
Mm-mm.
bang who's the champion sa division?
flyweight,
Flyweight si Valentina.
Valentina.
Valentina. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Mabigat.
Yeah. Malabo
Medyo
yan.
yan. I
Although,
think
si
for
Macy Barber
Grasso,
pala, this is her, no? Second straight loss. Is it?
yeah,
Talaga?
yeah,
Oo.
ang alam ko
Sad.
rin.
Pero,
There's been memes nga saying na yung tatay ni Macy is one of the worst cornermen. Sadly.
Diyos ko naman.
Tatay eh. So,
Two round.
although si Alexa Grasso, ang corner niya, tatay niya din.
tatay niya
Si
rin.
Luis
Oo,
Grasso.
exactly.
So Alexa Grasso is the new face of the division. She is definitely a threat. Let's see how she progresses. This was a good move for her. She doesn't have to cut that much weight, and we
This is
see
her
that
natural weight.
she's performing a lot better. We will go to the main. This was such a
Yes.
really good
Grabe talaga
Yes.
yan, as
Ang
in,
gandang buwelo. It was such a good segue to the main event. It was a
Mhm.
Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Doringa Burns. Going back to what I previously said, high-level grapplers learning striking
How
and
to strike.
starts knocking people out.
ibang klase.
Grabing knockdowns.
Yeah.
Grabe.
Oh, diba? Like opening bell.
Who the
Opening bell. Usman goes
Oh.
down. Burns goes down.
Burst goes
And
down.
then, like,
Oh, yari. Pucha, di ba?
Grabe, wild eh.
wild. Wild sila.
Parang,
Grabe
sabi niyo
yung power
boring si
jabs,
Usman.
I did not expect those power jabs.
Ganda ng jabs ni Usman.
One thing that I think this were the micro adjustments that Kamaru
Let's talk
Usman
about those popular
talking about
micro-adjustments later.
talking about micro adjustments.
Ganyan natalo si Rodolfo Vieira. Pa.
Micro adjustments. Usman really utilized his jabs, and I think this is gonna be part of the Tito's editorial segment later. He implemented really good game plan.
Yeah.
He knew that he had power. He knew that he had better wrestling. He didn't really engage on a jiu-jitsu match with Dorino
Yeah.
because he knows that
Galing.
Dorino is better than him with regards to straight up grappling. So he just went on his wrestling, kept the pressure, kept it standing, utilized his jab. As in the way he utilized his jab,
Lakas.
Grabe.
the
The
way
lahat
he
ng jabs niya halos pumasok.
and the way he was able to
Grabe.
switch stance. So he was comfortable in the orthodox stance, and then he was also comfortable in southpaw. Then the way he threw his jabs at southpaw
Grabe.
clearly caused a lot of damage on Dorino, especially nung he was able to well up Dorino's eye. And then come third round, he won via TKO. So
So,
and still,
And still,
our
yeah.
welterweight champion, the boogeyman of the welterweight division. I totally agree.
He's a problem.
he's a MF problem.
Problem.
So
Poor
now
Burns though. He waited 6 years for that title shot.
oo.
it was a good journey for Dorino. He wasn't hyped. He worked his way up the ranks,
Yeah.
and then
He
people
didn't
saw.
skip the line.
He didn't skip
Didn't skip
anybody.
Ganda pa rin naman pinakita niya talaga. I mean, muntikan din. Nung unang knockdown niya kay Usman, akala ko that was it.
Muntika.
Kinabahan din ako doon.
As in, it was there. They both had power, and for high level grapplers, they had power. Okay, they had power. They were able to knock out their
Yeah.
opponents. So it's very impressive.
Looks like the UFC is looking to cook a Ultimate Fighter season na silang dalawang head coaches. Wild yun.
Wild yun, man.
When that happens,
Yes.
come on.
I might actually watch Tough again. Huh?
Yeah.
I miss
Kasi-
stuff.
Yeah.
Ito yun eh. Kamaru has personality.
Mm-mm.
He has charisma, and then you put in Street Jesus there.
Mas charismatic ba? Si Street
Grabe.
Jesus, tawag niya kay, Kamaru, fake Marty, si Ben Askren. Di ba si Marty from Nebraska?
Party from Nebraska nga.
Talaga? We
Tingnan mo lang si
guarantee
Khabib
you.
muna.
We guarantee you, Uncle Dana, that is going to
Well.
be a hit. People will watch that.
Mhm.
Okay. Next on the agenda is a very interesting one. Bellator
Yeah.
released their light heavyweight Grand Prix, and
So exciting!
It
Wild,
is
dude.
so
So
exciting.
exciting.
My God.
Grabe. Ang ganda ng lineup. Ang ganda.
Yes.
People
Tell
who are
them,
watching
Coach.
this on Facebook and on YouTube,
Yes.
place
Don't
your
count
bets.
out
Who do you
Bellator.
think is gonna win? Who do you think is gonna win? Put it in the comment section, okay?
Yeah,
Who do you
yeah.
think is gonna win? So let's run it down.
Yes.
Let's run it down. Okay, so here we go. Yoel Romero versus Anthony Johnson. Yung palang,
Grabe. Whew.
That's the
Yung
fight UFC should have made, man.
Yeah.
Like,
parang
that
pang-main
could have
event
been
yun eh.
that could have been a pay-per-view.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah.
Would have paid for that.
A comebacking Anthony Johnson who fucks people up, knocks them out, and then here comes Bellator debut, Mr. Alayu.
Hala,
See you soon, boy. Yoel Romero. But no,
Cuban beans.
let's put them in the Grand Prix. Let's put them in the Grand Prix, okay? Let's put them in the
$1 million.
diba? And then we got Ryan Bader versus Lyoto Machida.
Mhm.
Two high level. You can say whatever you want, but it's still a Ryan Bader versus
rematch na
Lyoto.
yan, by the way.
Diba? It's a
Yeah.
rematch. And then we got Vadim Nemkov and
Current champ.
current champ versus Phil Davis.
Hey, Mr. Wonderful. Sorry.
Does he still wear those pink tights? Oh man.
signature eh.
Signature, naging
Signature niya eh.
signature na eh, diba? And then we've got Dovleshtan Yagshimuradov versus
Mhm.
Corey Anderson.
The rest.
So I don't know that much of Yagshimuradov, pero Corey Anderson will definitely be a formidable opponent. Betting odds. So Yoel is less than 150. Anthony Johnson is plus 120.
Mhm.
Bader is minus 500.
Diba?
Grabe naman mga odds to.
Ibang ko-
75.
Kung tataya po kayo,
Nemkov
Ingat lang.
is minus 350. Phil Davis is plus 275. Yagshimuradov is minus 150. Corey Anderson is plus 120. I mean, those
medyo
are
close.
ridiculous odds
Yeah.
considering na ano ako, na
credit to
ako.
Scott Coker, eh, no?
I'm like,
Oh,
oh
grabe.
God. Yung ano pa lang eh, yung Anthony Johnson, Yoel Romero pa lang. Ito lang.
Wild eh.
Because
Genius.
hear me out, Titos, and please weigh in on this. I was wishing that Bellator would separate the two first. Like, make Yoel fight Phil Davis and
may build up.
Yeah, so that they fight in the semis. Diba?
Oo nga, no?
I mean, that would
Kasi dito.
kasi,
wala
for
na.
example, whoever wins in the Rumble versus Yoel, people won't really like put more. I mean, they won't be as interested anymore because that was the fight that everyone
Actually.
like. Bader Lyoto, people will watch that.
Yeah, okay,
Nemkov versus Phil Davis, people will watch that.
Yeah.
Not sure about Corey versus. I mean,
Yeah.
no disrespect to these fighters, but you know, if from
It's the star power.
diba?
It's kinda lacking.
From a marketing perspective, diba? You want to retain attention of your viewers. Kayo guys, like JC, what do you think of the brackets? What do you think of this Grand Prix?
Yung iba, I'm okay with it. Yun nga, yung kay I'd agree with you. Kay Rumble and kay Yoel, medyo parang why
Parang
them?
na-excite eh. Na-excite.
Oo.
Nagmadali.
Dapat
Parang, sige
pinag-iba
na,
yung
lagay na
bracket.
natin. Kasi panoorin yan.
Like, bakit nandito? Dapat pinaghiwalay nyo sa bracket, di ba? Para may naman, chance ang magkita sa gitna.
Sa bagay, I guess, early on, they want to sell the fight,
The tourney.
the tournament already. Kaya lang, sayang nga. I mean, imagine kung halimbawa, kahit dito sa bracket nila, si Nemkov and Anthony Johnson, tapos si Phil Davis and Yoel Romero naglaban para come July, Rumble and si Yoel na maglalaban.
Assume mo na
Malay
na
natin.
matatalo.
I mean, we could be wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
Imagine yung hype na ngayon pa lang, hype mo na yung laban na hopefully,
Yun na
kung
eh.
nagkataon, i-anticipate mo, by July pa,
Diba?
grabe yun.
Build that hype train.
Then the betting odds will change.
Yeah,
Diba?
get
Yeah,
more
sure.
money.
Oh.
So ikaw, Carl, like
Yeah. Same ako, like, tara pinaghiwalay kasi obviously they really want this tourney, and Scott Coker from Strikeforce pa lang has been doing these kinds of tournaments para nothing motivates fighters like a $1 million at the end of the prize money at the end of the tunnel and a Grand Prix belt, diba?
How often
Pero,
do you get,
how often
the
do you
fight?
get that? Pero ito pa lang, problemado ako doon sa Bader Machida. Like, why would I want to see that again? Ryan Bader, Rumble. Okay, sabihin natin talo si Bader. No disrespect, sir, but you know, it's fucking Rumble. I love you versus, I don't know, one of the Russians, si Nemkov kagad. Ganyan. Young gun versus that other Russian guy. I can't pronounce his name.
Madov.
There you
Pero
go.
feeling ko rin kasi they don't want to risk. They probably don't want to, naisip ko lang to right now.
Yeah.
They probably don't want to risk na they lose early in
They
the,
lose early.
they
Oo,
lose
yun
early
nga.
and then they lose
Pero
to
tama ka eh. The
someone
whole
na.
format itself is a risky business
Mm.
proposition.
Yeah.
Parang,
Are they
paano kung
winning
hindi
the
mangyari
light
yung
heavyweight title or is this a Grand Prix title?
Grand Prix title?
Okay.
Iba pa siya.
Okay.
Oh, so si Nemkov, who is the champion, his belt is not up for grabs. But he did say he wanted to participate. So sige, sama natin dyan. Parang hindi
Major
siya daw
balls
siya
yun,
mateka.
Props to
ballsy,
Nemkov.
diba? Kasi
Props
bata
to
pa
Mr.
siya.
Nemkov.
I
And
just
yeah.
don't want Rumble to get injured on the way to getting another belt getting a belt sana because prone to injury tong mokong na to eh.
Tsaka, I really hope he makes weight. Come on, it's 205 na.
Yes,
205. Come on, you
yes.
gotta make the cut.
Yes.
Come on.
Tapos yung Rumble weight cut pa naman, di ba? Last time natin nakita siya, laki-laki niya na.
Super jacked. Super jacked.
Alam ko nga, heavyweight na siya lalaban.
Actually.
Yung mga ganyan dapat chinecheck ni JC kung gaano yung Magic Beans level eh. Di ba? Kung may karate combat, Carl Demeso, Jackness level, dapat may
Jackness
JC
level,
Reyes,
tapos,
tayo, Magic Beans level.
Number of beans.
Yung beans, para may beans na lumalabas na gano'n. Di ba? So,
could happen. Paano kung ma-eliminate si Rumble at saka si altogether?
Di ba? So, it's very tricky. It's a gamble, pero I mean, major props to Bellator for doing this. It put a lot of eyes on the organization. Diba?
It's a gambling though. It's a gambling heaven.
Yung isang thing to note pala is some of these fights dito sa Grand Prix are rematches. Like Machida and Bader.
So we got Bader, Machida, who else?
Nemkov and Davis. It's a
talaga?
It's a rematch. Okay.
Din. Wow.
Okay.
So there you go. Bakit pa?
Split decision sila noong 2018.
Split decision. So
but this Nemkov guy is no pushover pala. He KO'd
yan yung
Bader
ni Fader
in
di ba?
My goodness.
So we'll see how. So it's gonna be a Grand Prix of rematches pala.
Yun na nga.
A Grand Prix of debuts and rematches. There are so many storylines here. It's gonna be interesting. We're gonna look forward to this.
Yes.
And given the chance, we will watch and cover this. So we'll head on to some boxing news by JC Reyes. Let's go.
Si Mauricio Lara and Josh Warrington.
Major upset.
Grabe, major upset to. I mean, initially nobody expected na si Warrington was gonna get knocked out just like that by Mauricio Lara.
Mexican boxing at its finest.
Yeah, that's Mexican boxing for you. It was just like Mexico versus UK, parang ganon. Sabi nga nila, medyo comparable daw. Yung upset is comparable to the Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua thing sa heavyweight eh. Grabe. In this fight, alam ko si Lara got the title from Warrington. Ito yung mga tipo ng fighters na our featherweights, our current rising stars in the featherweight divisions of Philippines are probably
like who's in that division na pwede lang.
Mark Magsayo, yan isa sa mga
a pretty good matchup for him. Yeah, it's pretty good match. I mean, given if we're gonna base this outing, Magsayo has his plate full, so he really needs to prepare for that one.
Freddie Roach, where he said malayo-layo pa si Mark Magsayo from fighting for a title, which is I'd agree with Freddie Roach. He's Freddie Roach. He knows.
Naman. I don't think Mark Magsayo will question when Freddie Roach says na you're not yet ready. Pero ito yun eh. You're not ready now. You will be eventually. Given more training, more
Sometimes,
maturity.
Kahit hindi ka ready, you have to be ready.
Ang ano lang dyan, feeling ko lang naman, one of the things that's lacking lang talaga in Philippine boxing is maturity in the ring. Tapos more international exposure. I think we get more international exposure, like whether it's an unknown fighter or just to be acquainted with the travel, setting up camp elsewhere, adjusting to a new climate, adjusting to new environments, adjusting to different people. It's going to help them get better eh. One of the reasons why Pacquiao relocated to the States, di ba?
Yeah.
Even when he was still with Murad Muhammad. I mean, sige, for whatever shit na Murad did, I mean, he's a crook, he was a piece of shit. Pero when he saw potential in Manny, and then yun din, the current handlers of Manny believed in his potential, they immediately relocated to the States. It was a gamble. It was a huge gamble. Diba? Instead of building his name here, let's bring him to the States na. The way I see the boxing scene right now, we need more of those.
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean na they go to the States right away. They can go to Guam, they can go to Japan, they can go to, I mean, just get used to the travel.
Parang mostly ang mga Pinoy boxers is usually exposed sa China, Thailand. Pero yung mga Pinoy na nasa Japan are mostly journeymen. I mean, I think our top guys need to go to Japan too. I mean, naiwan na tayo sa boxing. Let's face it. Naiwan na tayo ng iba nating mga kapitbahay within Asia sa boxing. For some reason.
Diba? Japanese boxers, Thai fighters, they fight locally, but they also make sure na they have a few stints in the States, diba? They
Si Naoya Inoue did that.
Yeah, exactly. So so we got, so sabihin natin gas-gas na si Manny Pacquiao example. Naoya Inoue. Look at Inoue now. These are just suggestions, but easier said than done. I really hope na either whoever supporting our local boxers, whether it's a private organization, a private entity, we need more private sector support.
Yes.
Let's build them up. The benefits outweigh the cost for Philippine boxers as well. Make yourselves worth it.
Yes.
Okay, make yourselves worth it. We have so many talented boxers. We have so many hardworking boxers. I really hope na we just bridge the gap between commerce and sports.
Yes.
I think that's what's missing. Old practices na masyado nang nag-stagnate. Well, for me, this is just my opinion, okay? There's just so many things, the olden ways or old practices that
we all know that our biggest boxing superstar right now is almost on his way out. So we need the next Pinoy boxing superstar. We need the next boxing superstars from the Philippines. We all know we have a lot of potential future superstars. So supportahan lang natin sila. And speaking of,
I really love it when JC said superstars. Hindi na tayo, we're not relying on one guy. Let's not pin our hopes on one guy.
Yeah.
We can produce so many.
Yeah.
Diba?
If you would have talked to me about this 10 years ago or something, I'd say the next Manny Pacquiao. Pero eventually you'd realize that you were not looking for the next Manny Pacquiao. We're looking for the next boxing superstar from the Philippines.
There's space enough naman for superstars the plural.
Oh, and I think that's better. And then we don't I'd rather, I mean, it's okay. I am not hating on the fact that there's just one guy, pero what if we had 10 superstars?
Exactly.
Wild
Diba?
yun. I mean,
Exactly.
the US has a lot of that.
Oo.
Mexico has a lot of that. Bakit tayo hindi pwede?
Diba? And
Weird nga.
Yun lang din, diba? We can't be, para kasi naging formula siya. It has become this, we pin our hopes on one person.
Yeah.
on one, based on a
Actually.
sport.
Wild nga, diba? Pati the Manny Pacquiao Philippine MMA.
Yeah, diba? So let's just stop. Let's just evolve.
Weird,
It's
diba?
part of the evolution, okay? Let's evolve. And then speaking of Manny Pacquiao, we were discussing this on our brainstorming board. Here comes Manny asking $40 million for his Crawford fight. I agree with him that Manny's just pricing himself out.
Is that too high for his age? And
For right now, I guess. I mean,
okay.
I believe na someone somewhere out there could give that amount of money. Yung tipong mga nasa Dubai. From some prince who has a lot of money.
Some
Let's go
shake
get that oil money.
Yeah.
Hindi siya feasible, ganun ka feasible these days. I mean, wala naman ding lumalabas. Sa nila kukunin yung pambawi if ever they shell out that amount of money. Sabi ko nga dun sa mga discussions online sa mga Facebook groups is masyadong mataas yung $40 million, but I think what Manny's camp is trying to do is humuli ng sapul na presyo talaga. I mean, let's start at 40 million pero payag hanggang ganito.
We can actually settle at 20, parang ganyan.
Kasi, when JC posted this, I immediately my initial reaction was, Manny was how much was his EF from the Thurman fight? Parang
$10
15
million.
lang, 10. O sige.
10 plus plus. So
10 plus plus. So
siguro
sabihin
$15
natin,
million.
so everyone's gonna base his current
Yeah.
price from that fight.
When was the last time that he earned like $40 million?
Oh, diba? Is
Even
Manny Pacquiao worth 40 million?
at this
Definitely.
point?
Diba?
Yeah.
At this point, definitely. But who's gonna pay it?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Yeah.
And how are they going to recuperate, or how are they going to amass that amount to pay him?
Kung may
That's the
gate
problem.
tickets and ang
Pay-per-view,
kayang-kaya,
advertisers,
pwede, but
There's no more draw in this division. Mayweather is not here, so Pacquiao is your default draw. Manny Pacquiao can still fight, and he's still entertaining,
yeah.
so he'll be worth the money. However, when you go on the flip side, whoever is he gonna face? Are people willing to pay for Manny to watch that guy? That's why. That's why yun nga. That's why he needs a draw. He needs
Yeah.
a draw of an opponent. And right now, it's probably McGregor. Some YouTuber. I don't know. Mikey Garcia is a good matchup for Manny.
Yeah, I mean,
Pero
but
pay-per-view wise, I don't think that's that stupid matchup with Ryan Garcia that could probably work. Here's the thing
Pero,
about that
yeah.
Ryan Garcia fight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Who is going to go down weight? Who is going to go up weight?
And I read somewhere na ang sabi niya, this is a revenge fight now. Some dudes said Ryan Garcia is the new face of Golden Boy Boxing.
Yeah.
This is supposedly Oscar De La Hoya's revenge against
Actually,
Manny
ito yun na.
Pacquiao. I don't know.
Oscar wants to fight again. So if he wants to fight again, why don't he rematch Manny? That's a $40 million fight.
Yeah. I mean,
People
will
watch
yeah,
that fight.
A Legends fight.
And ito lang. May naisip lang ako. Bear with me, titos. Okay? Why not make Thriller promote it? Sipin mo?
Trailer.
Snoop Dogg. Snoop
Trailer,
Dogg
Golden Boy,
commentating
MP
an
promote.
Oscar De La Hoya versus Manny Pacquiao fight. Sorry, JC. Ano sasabi mo?
Pwede yan. I mean, kaya lang ang dami nila maghahati na naman doon.
He's been trying to be a matchmaker. He's been pitting boxers against each other, putting them on video calls. It's so amazing. Sobrang galing. Hotboxing with Mike Tyson.
Hotboxing where he smokes weed. Wow.
Yeah.
Ang galing. Mike Tyson's doing amazing. He's really, really doing amazing. One of the things that's reviving boxing right now is Mike Tyson's podcast. Very, very relevant, especially after that Roy Jones. It was a good build-up. It was a good build-up. He was building his brand again. People were recognizing, and he made more sense. He was talking more sense, and then that fight happened now. And if we don't want you to fight these hungry up-and-comers. You don't have to prove anything anymore. I mean, you love the challenge. Pero let's look into the future, diba? You're a leader of this country. We don't know of your political aspirations, pero you got nothing to prove by banging with younger hungry guys, diba? Get your money, diba? Get paid. You deserve to get paid. Oscar De La, I'm gonna tweet this later. Diba? I'm gonna post this later. Diba?
Tag both of them.
Diba? A Combat Sports Weekly exclusive. Why not? Oscar De La Hoya wants to fight again. Why not get in shape and fight Manny again?
Getting ready. He's getting ready for a
He's in camp now daw. He's in camp, yeah.
Legacy fight daw eh. So, I don't see the Mikey Garcia as a legacy fight. It's not
Agree.
a legacy fight. Ryan Garcia fight is not a legacy fight. The only legacy fights I see are Spence or Crawford. That's it.
Between the two, Crawford and Spence. A good fight for me. Spence would be a more viable opponent for me. Both dangerous, pero style-wise, Spence.
I think mas fit yung style ni Spence kaysa kay Crawford. I mean, although hindi pa natin makita kasi hindi yung quality ng fight ng mga nakalaban ni Crawford is not as good as Spence or Manny per se, pero si Crawford ang pinaka nakakatakot sa division. I guess
that is a good
one of
point.
the reasons why ayaw siyang kalabanin ng most of the fighters. I mean, in his division, he's been champ since 2015.
I have a question. Question lang. Did Conor losing put a damper on Manny Conor?
Personally, I don't think so.
Okay.
Pwede pa yan eh.
Pwede pa pala yun.
Kasi, I mean, Conor McGregor is still the biggest star in MMA, right? People will
May
buy
manonood pa rin.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
Pero kasi,
ako feeling ko low-key tayong tatlo panonorin natin.
wala naman tayong choice, di ba? Kailangan natin panoorin eh.
Feeling ko
Pero kasi,
panoorin.
ngayong
Disclaimer
medyo
lang.
real na yung Dustin at saka Conor 3, parang, kala ko ba, magmamani.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Kasi wala namang biggest star, wala namang biggest draw in MMA as big as Conor McGregor right now.
Well, it's definitely bigger than Ben Askren versus Jake fucking Paul, man.
Pero that will sell, That will sell
That will
for
sell.
millennials and Gen
Oh,
Zers.
actually.
Kuha yan. YouTube,
Sa mga
kuha nila
kids.
YouTube crowd yan. For sure. That's gonna make a lot of money. For the Tito's editorial section, it was a very good suggestion by my co-host here, and it just blew my mind na, oh nga no, it was one of those, because of the two, for those who don't know, Kamaru Usman and Gilbert Burns used to be teammates.
Really
So-
good friends too.
And they're really good friends. So they're still really good friends. Pero this sparked a huge of fighters that used to be teammates
Yeah.
that ended up facing each other.
Rivals.
Diba? From friends to foes. Hindi naman, sige. From friends to rivals.
To rivals.
Diba?
Yeah.
From training partners to adversaries. Ano yan eh?
Teammates fighting each other. Hot button issue.
It's I mean, especially those who are fighters. So for every coach or MMA fighter here, if you're the fighter, are you willing to fight your teammate for the belt? Okay, put it in the comment section. If you're the coach, who do you choose?
Yes. Oh. How do you decide who to corner?
How do you decide?
Or do you even corner anybody?
Are you gonna take a page from Henri Hooft's notebook?
Yes.
And not choose anyone?
Not choose. Bahala ka sa
Alis
buhay
na kayo
nyo.
rito. Ayoko tuturuan kahit sino sa inyo
Yeah.
kasi pareho kayong fighters.
Diba? Or are you gonna go what do you call this?
Jackson Wink.
Jackson Wink na when John Jones fought
Jones.
Rashad Evans, they opted for a John Jones. So
Dahil sa puwera talaga,
diba?
diba?
It's gonna be interesting. So Chuck Liddell and Tito Ortiz, they were
Yes.
teammates.
Super
However,
good friends.
Super good
Wow.
friends, but they were campaigning in the 205 division.
Correct.
So
Oo.
they were really good. They were winning. So they ended up fighting each other. That kind of
And then-
started the rivalry.
Hating each other's guts.
And then they started hating each other. It's the fight camp. It's the fight camp. It's the preparation. Now you just really have to set things aside. You can be professional about it. However, it's the people. It's either the people around you. It's the media. It's the perfect opportunity for old issues to explode.
Yes. There's also, just to, as an aside, guys, no, there's also always that niggling feeling that mas magaling naman ako dyan eh.
Ayun.
Kilala ko yan.
Yan. Nako.
Diba?
Yan.
Oo.
Even in boxing.
Lagi nangyayari yan. Sa
May mga
boxing
ganyan.
din nangyayari yan.
Remember Floyd Mayweather Jr. versus Oscar De La Hoya? They used
Other
to be-
teammates.
They used to be
okay.
under one promotion. Tapos
Yep.
Floyd wanted to promote himself.
Mhm.
And hinamon niya si Oscar De La Hoya and that was it.
Ano pa yan? Ano pa siya noon? He was Pretty Boy Floyd.
Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah, he was still Pretty Boy Floyd.
Oh.
Ano bang pinaka-bitter na ano? Because the most dramatic I remember is TJ Dillashaw.
Let's go way back pa lang
Way back.
konti.
Way back.
Rashad versus John Jones.
John Jones.
They kinda, even the UFC milked it. I mean, whether
Yes,
they
sobrang
admit it or not, they kind of milked it, di ba? You don't even have to create a story kasi
Andun na.
andun
Yun
na
na yun
eh.
eh.
Oh,
There's always drama. Kahit na sabihin mong, yeah, we're good, hindi pa rin.
No.
Merong, parang ano nga eh, when we started discussing this, di ba, parang we went all the way back to Liddell Ortiz na we forgot about Burns and Usman kasi
wala.
they
Dami.
were still okay eh. They were
Oo,
still
yeah.
okay eh.
Kasi meron pang brothers talaga, di ba? Si Frank tsaka si Ken. Nag-away din yun eh, di ba?
Nag-away din sila. Di ba? TJ Cody,
I'm
TJ
like
Uriah.
more TJ versus whole team Alpha
Oo,
Male,
di ba? Parang TJ versus Team Alpha Male. That was ugly. People
Color ba yung pala si Muno?
Oo, di ba? He's the snake in the
It's
grass.
the snake in the grass. Yes. And who all came from Blackzilians sa Miami. When that team went bust because of mismanagement, kanya-kanya sila. But most of the fighters who were black, kaya Blackzilians, went with Henri Hooft, which became Hooft Kickboxing. Nandun sina Gilbert, si Onglang Sang. So, nung nagkaroon ng ganon, parang may animosity na sa Hooft Kickboxing. Umalis si Kamaru, pumunta siyang Miami, pumunta siya somewhere else. He went basically with Rashad Evans and they formed their own team. So, naiwan si Gilbert Burns sa Sanford MMA, which used to be Hooft Kickboxing. Si Rashad, who is from the Black Zillions and was teammates with both of si Camaro and Gilbert, is now termed the Golden Snitch. Apparently, siya daw yung secret weapon ni Kamaru against Gilbert because si Rashad knows all the secrets that Gilbert has.
Rashad has really good fight IQ.
Yes.
Tapos, Kamaru and Rashad Evans have a really, really good relationship. They're very, very close. When Kamaru was just starting, he would sleep in Rashad's couch.
Yes.
And then Rashad would guide him in his career. He would even lend him money when he needed it. So, what happens now? Do they all go back to Henri Hooft?
Yun na nga eh. Friends na ba tayo?
Diba? That's the big
Kasi
question
sobrang
now.
close sila nung nanalo nga ng
grabe.
Ultimate Fighter si Kamaru. Si Gilbert Burns yung nag-aano sa kanya. Doon siya sumakay.
So what's next, diba? What's next? Do they all go back to Henri Hooft? Na parang, okay, it was a good campaign. Come on, guys.
How do you resolve that? Would that be
Exactly.
the story, the parang fairy tale ending? Like, yeah, friends tayo ulit. Sometimes there's just no going back, eh, no?
Oo,
Or
yun nga eh, 'di ba? You made that decision. You both made that decision. For me,
For fighters who watch this, what is the best possible
Very
SOP to do?
tricky.
Kasi, di ba, ang hirap eh. Kasi si DC tsaka si Kane, DC just changed weight classes para hindi sila magtagpo ni Kane. Yun lang.
that
Si
was
Keith
the preemptive that was the preemptive move eh.
Keith Jardine and Rashad, yun yung unang parang rivalry dapat.
It's a very clear-cut indication that you put your relationship first. It's an interest. So please, everyone who's gonna watch this, put in your comments. Put in your. What do you think? What do you think?
Would you
Diba?
fight your
Would you
teammate?
would you fight your teammate?
In line with this pala, I just remembered something. Kasi it looks like it's gonna be inevitable in one championship. The Team Lakay guys, magkaka-division sila. Goodness!
Kasi magkaka-weight class sila.
Ilan sila sa bantamweight, ilan sila sa
Oo
flyweight,
nga.
sa strawweight.
Pero is one gonna make those matchups? Are they? Diba? Are they gonna make
If
those?
I was...
Ito rin yun. They could probably say, yeah, let's make them fight other people. But what if it reaches a point
Wala na.
wherein all the Lakay fighters beat their opponents
Yeah.
and they really, di ba? Like for example, may ano na eh, like whoever, yan, sila Joshua, sila Kevin, they start beating up their opponents. They start dominating the the division. Then go like, okay, wala na eh. Ano pang title eliminator natin? Now,
Is it gonna be a classic Vitor and Anderson Silva like
so who is Mark Sangyao gonna train?
yes.
Are they
Hindi
all
allow
gonna
that, o
are
may
they,
paakyatin ba siya?
diba? Or
Oo.
some of them gonna leave the team? That's gonna be interesting.
Keep in mind, magkakapit bahay yung mga tao.
Diba? Tsaka magkaka-tribe yung mga
Oh, exactly. It's not like you can avoid each other at fucking parties, guys.
diba? So that's a very
Wow.
interesting
Yeah.
plot twist yan, ha?
Yeah, exactly.
Very
Depende ba yan sa
interesting.
offer din? Alam mo yun, ha?
Oo nga.
Medyo maganda
kasi
yung offer.
They can all be professional about it, diba?
Yeah,
Fighters are
actually.
professionals. However, you cannot. What's the gym dynamic now?
Oo.
Diba?
Ano
Magkakaroon ba ng schedule? Ikaw muna ganitong oras, ikaw muna ganito. Tapos kung ikaw yung coach, may game plan ako for this guy, may game plan ako this guy kasi kalaban rin niya yun. Ano to?
Alam mo pareho yung galaw nila. So,
Oo, di ba? So, are they gonna hire more coaches? Or
Oo.
are they going to, di ba? Or is it gonna be now, okay, I'm gonna coach this guy, you're gonna coach this guy, let's see. Di ba?
Or
Wala
do you
pa tayong
say,
pansinan, di ba?
this shit,
Di ba?
you go wherever you just don't train here.
Di ba? That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be very, very interesting now, di ba? Well, parang yan yung mga abangan ng susunod na kabanata
Kasi-
natin.
Especially dun sa point ni JC. Kasi kinuha na nila si Stephen Loman from Brave. So,
Oo.
nasa 1FC na siya. Like,
Sa 1FC na siya. Or
Stephen Loman,
they
even
start
si Jeremy Pacquiao, kinuha na
Oo,
rin
yan.
not unless they're gonna stagger na parang
Pwede.
okay, let's divide you guys into different weight classes, 'di ba? One is gonna go up, one is gonna cut down.
Ang issue ron, magkakasinlaki sila.
Yun
Yun
pa.
actually, magkakasinlaki
Problema nila
sila, magka-weight class sila. So, paano na?
Ang malaki lang talaga sa kanila si Edward and si Honorio.
Honorio.
Yun. Everybody else
Malaki.
are in the same way.
Oh, especially yung bata nilang bago, si Lito Adiwang, di ba?
Oh.
Pero si Lito naman, wala naman masyadong ka-weight si Lito eh.
Although, well,
Ano bang
si Lito kasi
featherweight?
technically bago siya sa Team Lakay compared to everyone else. He came from, was that tribal submission eh.
Yeah.
Tribal submission, yeah.
The drama, the
tayo ni Coach
bitterness.
Mike nito, pero I mean, it's something that could happen in the future.
Hindi,
Yes,
it's a ano to, it's one of those elephants in the room that sooner or later people will address.
You gotta
And
confront
you
it.
heard it here first on Combat Sports Weekly.
Matagal ko na iniisip
Sino ang
yun,
snake in the grass kung meron ng mga snake, diba? Ay.
Alam mo, if I were 1FC, tapos biglang push comes to shove, no choice, they're gonna fight for the title, no one's gonna budge. Make parang Ultimate Fighter-ish, di ba? Di ba?
Yan.
Di ba? Parang si Coach Mark, top of the mountain, nanonood lang. Tapos yung mga bata niya, nagko-coach ng mga,
Ultimate
bahala
Fighter
dyan.
type, tas teammate versus teammate.
Oh, di ba?
Mm.
Oh, di ba? Oh.
Parang yung ATT versus Black Zillions dati, diba?
Oh, di ba? So good
Sometimes-
storyline, good drama,
Yeah.
good payday.
Yes.
Tapos, you put a belt on the line.
Oh.
Perfect.
Is the gold thicker than blood?
Oh, di ba? We will see. Di ba?
Yes.
All for glory. Glory.
Thank you everyone for watching. Sorry, medyo under the weather. But yeah, thank you sa sumusupport sa podcast. Happy Coffee PH and Alak and Company. Who else? Kung gusto nyo to support the podcast, alam nyo na, contact us.
We really appreciate you guys listening. Obviously, nung sinasabi ni Coach Franco na may nakikinig, parang wow. It's always a surprise to us that many people are actually into MMA as opposed to like 10 years ago. Or nobody was fucking watching except us people. Anyway, again, we really appreciate you guys. Kung ano man yung gusto yung pag-usapan namin, like other elephants in the room that we need to point out or like need to touch and poke and discuss about, just let us know. Season 2 of my podcast is now up. Hope you can listen to it. It's the Dead Drop. You can find it on Spotify and all major podcast platforms.
Dead Drop Podcast. Follow them all on their socials. Really good content. Thank you so much to the people who are supporting the podcast. If you want to be part of a season or an episode, just let us know. Message us. For those who have sent their messages, we'll do our best to get back to you. Thank you to Happy Coffee PH, Alak and Company, tapos may Ikiro, yan. I forgot to show this last
Yes.
but this is really good. This is really good. I use this a lot when I train. Ayan din, for people who are biking, this is your friend.
Oy, sakto yan dun sa
This is
older.
gonna be your friend, okay?
Sakto sa workout ko ngayon yan kasi I can't do MMA yet.
For boxing promotions, we really wish you all success. Thank you for entrusting us with promoting your events, and then don't worry, we will keep promoting them because this is our way of serving the martial arts community.
No bias.
Yun nga lang, kami talaga, brutal po kami dito. Positive and negative kami dito.
Real talk to.
Real talk lang po talaga kami.
Hashtag.
As in,
Super necessary po.
we're very transparent when it comes to that. When we talk to coaches and boxers, we say, yeah, we'll talk about your fighter, we'll talk about your event, pero just don't expect anything to lean towards you. We're gonna say both the pros and the cons, diba? Pero everything that we say is in support of the community. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week on another episode of Combat Sports Weekly. Bye-bye.
Coach Franco says would like to thank the following sponsors for making this episode possible.
My armor of choice. Never go to battle without it. Beware the robot face. I am Knots and Crosses. Place your orders on their Facebook or Instagram pages. Just good vibes in the local jiu-jitsu scene. Check out my Ikiro Collective family at ikiro.ph. Simply Better Dentistry. Visit the Santos Dental Group and Oral Surgery Center. Book an appointment on their social media pages. Boost your immune system with Nano Silver Immune Support Supplement. Order your bottles on their social media pages. For local martial arts news here in the Philippines, visit Local MMA on Facebook and listen to one of my favorite podcasts, Destroy MNL.